Na 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 na. Hey YouTube, welcome back to another exciting episode of Vin Plays Fantasy Football. I just thought I'd give you an update. This is week 1 of the 2020 football season. This is Friday, so Friday, September 11th. So we just got our first glimpse of football. The Chiefs played the defending champion Chiefs, I should say, played the Texans, the new look Houston Texans. I do have Clyde Edwards-Helaire in my ESPN league, but we'll talk about that once we go and review that team. So in this video, I'm pretty much going to go over the two teams that I consider my two main leagues, my two main fantasy leagues that I more or less showed the drafts of a few days ago when I had my drafts over Labor Day weekend. So this is my main league here. This is the league that I commissioned. So if you recall, this is my starting lineup. We have Jared Goff, Davante Adams, Robert Woods, Josh Jacobs, Chris Carson, Blake Jarwin, and Raheem Mostert. And this was a draft where I drafted a S-ton, a buttload of running backs. I think we have seven on this squad. But looking over our squad right now, our starters right now, I don't really think I'm going to make any many changes. Well, I did actually make a couple of changes because I did swap out my flex. I swapped it out Le'Veon Bell for Raheem Mostert. I just think because Le'Veon Bell is playing against the Buffalo Bills, and they have a really stout defense. The defense is going to be super good this year. So I just swapped him out for Raheem Mostert because Mostert has a better matchup against Arizona. And I even think I ended up hearing on the radio or maybe on Roto World that Shanahan has our Mostert is the #1 guy on the depth chart officially for San Francisco. So he should even be on the starter on top. Well, the official starter. Starters don't really make much of or it doesn't really mean much for the starters, for who's named starter for the 49ers, since, you know, it's like Tevin Coleman was named starter for most of last season, but Mostert was the obvious standout in that backfield. But yeah, Mostert was even named the official starter for this coming game, so I'm hoping that means good things. And I also swapped out Blake Jarwin for actually no, yeah, Blake Jarwin was in. I had it in there initially because in this league I have Blake Jarwin and Jonnu Smith. Otherwise, you know, there's not too many tough decisions here. We're gonna start Jared Goff. He's the best quarterback we have on our team right now. There is Joe Burrow, but against the Los Angeles Chargers, that defense is still really good. Even though I actually watched the last episode of Hard Knocks, and the Chargers standout safety, gosh, I forgot his name now. He got hurt, but they still have really good defensive players in Melvin Ingram and Joey Bosa. So yeah, that defense is going to be really good. So we don't really want to start Joe Burrow, but yeah, we have Jared Goff, Davante Adams, Robert Woods against Dallas, Josh Jacobs, Chris Carson. These are all, yeah. I don't foresee this lineup changing all that often week to week. Jared Goff, depending on how well Joe Burrow does and how well Jared Goff does, we're probably going to need to stream anyways. So we'll see. We'll just play that by ear week to week. Otherwise, yeah, we're more or less just going to wait and see what happens during the week. We want to see for Le'Veon Bell in Buffalo, although it'll be a tough matchup, we want to see the distribution between how many carries he gets opposite to Frank Gore, because if Adam Gase is going to be Adam Gase, there's a good possibility that Gore will get a significant amount of work and maybe even cut into Levy. Like it'd be surprising, but not outside the realm of possibility if Frank Gore ends up getting 50% or more of the touches in that backfield just because of Adam Gase. But anyways, yeah, and the same thing with Zach Moss. It's the same situation there. We want to see what the touches are going to be between him and Devin Singletary. There's been a lot of buzz about him in training camp, and a lot of analysts are actually talking about him being the better back or even being the lead back in that backfield. So fingers crossed that happens. I have Zach Moss in a bunch of my leagues, so yeah, we're betting on him. Same thing with Antonio Gibson. He is going to be the starter, and he should get the most work, at least to start out with. But you never know. He is a rookie, and if he doesn't perform, then they could easily very much move on. The same thing with Marquise Brown. He was hurt most of last year, so we want to see if he is indeed going to be Lamar Jackson's top receiver or lead target. Anyways, lead target between him and Mark Andrews. Jarvis Landry's I'm not really too worried about. We could see like the distribution between him and that. There are a lot of targets on that team though, because they have Austin Hooper, they still have David Njoku, they have obviously the elephant in the room, Odell Beckham Jr., and I think they have a couple more wide receivers, not rookies, but I think second-year receivers that could cut into that kind of work. So there's a lot of targets for Baker Mayfield there. Their O-line should be a little bit better from what I'm hearing, but not that much better. So we'll have to keep a close eye out to see whether or not Baker can maybe make a step or take a step forward. I should say, take a step forward and yeah, just hit guys with his passes and lead that team to wins. David Montgomery was a full participant in yesterday's practice, so he is going to start that game. If he was 100% healthy, we would be considering starting him in the flex. But the thing is, with the injury history early on in this season, I just don't trust putting him in there right now. It's like he could get re-injured, or it's like I'd really feel a lot better if they just sat him for a game and just brought him back next week. But yeah, he is set to play on Sunday, so we'll see if he could hold up and how well he does. If he holds up well and does relatively well, because I don't think Detroit's defense is very good this year. Well, I don't think they're awful, but I think they're more like middle of the pack. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Hopefully, knock on wood, he holds up. His body holds up and his health holds up. And then we have Joe Burrow and Jonnu Smith. I'm actually in the process now. I did make one waiver claim because somebody dropped Devin Harris, and Devin Harris from the New England Patriots. He was very much a standout during the preseason, but he got hurt. He hurt his hand, his pinky finger. From what I'm reading, he got a bunch of stitches in his pinky finger, and they put him on IR, which is different from last year's IR or traditional IR in that you're only forced to miss 3 games and not 6 games. So I'm considering dropping him. I have him in my ESPN league. I'm considering dropping him there, but in this league I have 2 IR spots mostly for, but just in case, because in this league I ended up adding 2 IR spots and 2 bench spots just in case I'm gonna have to bleep that out again, but just in case the plague sets in some of these teams or some of these games, or people more or less have to miss because of the plague. So but in this league, since I do have IR spots, I am going to drop Jonnu Smith for Devin Harris, and then hopefully drop and then put Devin Harris in one of those IR spots, and then pick up another tight end. Because right now, let's go ahead and look at what players we have available here. I'd want to pick up someone like Eric Ebron. Eric Ebron is getting a lot of buzz. The last thing that I read said that they're just using him in all kinds of receiver type roles in that Steelers offense. So there's a lot of buzz from him. So he might explode this week, or might be a reliable fantasy starter like he was for the Colts a couple years ago when Andrew Luck was still playing. And there's also another Ian Thomas can also has the opportunity to break out over there in Carolina. So hopefully, right now I have the waiver claim on for what's his name again? For Devin Harris, and then I could pick up another upside tight end, or we don't even have to pick up another tight end if we didn't want to. We could pick up. I think there's a few wide receivers that we do like. See, Deshaun Jackson is still there. He's probably going to be the number one on that team. Yeah, but it's between Jalen Reagor is back as well. From what I'm hearing, he practiced in full as well, so he's expected to play this Sunday. So between him and Jalen Reagor, he should be good. But yeah, we'll see what happens. All right, so I think that pretty much does it for this team. Let's go ahead and hop over to my ESPN league real quick. There we go. All right, so let's go ahead and go through our lineup here. We have Drew Brees. We have Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who did amazing last night. He was, oh man, so good. He had 25 carries, and he was stuffed a bunch of times at the 1-2 yard line, which was very disappointing. He still did super well, but man, his night could have been so much better if he would have. If he would have been able to break in and get another touchdown, get 2 touchdowns instead of 1. But anyways, we have Clyde Edwards-Helaire, we have Kenyon Drake, we also have AJ Brown, Kenny Golladay, DJ Chark, Blake Jarwin as well in this league, the Eagles defense, and Mason Crosby. There's not too much to talk about for this lineup as well. Drew Brees, I don't foresee even having to stream him for many of his matches anyways. I didn't really look at his schedule, but how high I drafted him, and let's take a peek. I don't foresee really being afraid of any of his matchups here. So okay, he during week 14 he does have a matchup against San Francisco, which should be pretty rough. But the thing is, his offense is just so good. I'd be reluctant to sit him for many of the streaming options that we're likely to have anyways. So I'm probably just going to set it and forget it with him for the rest of the season. That's the idea in my mind right now anyways, my outlook right now. Clyde Edwards-Helaire again, man, amazing. Oh man, if you guys didn't watch yesterday's game, as a game, it was Kansas City ran away with it pretty early. I want to say the game was more or less decided towards the middle to the end of the second quarter. But as far as just watching good players play, man, the Chiefs look scary AF, I'll tell you that much. Patrick Mahomes is on the top of his game. Even when Tyreek Hill has an off game, or he's covered the way he was yesterday and just doesn't do as well as he possibly could, he still scores a touchdown and drops 60 and grabs 60 yards. Sammy Watkins exploded for this game a bit, so let's see if he could keep it up for more than one game this year, not like last year. But yeah, it was fun to watch, and it's just fun to watch football, considering that a few months ago we didn't even know that we'd have football. But anyways, let's go down our lineup. Kenyon Drake against San Francisco, that is a very scary matchup. But looking at our bench, I don't really think, I don't trust any of our guys here to do better than him, considering his workload. And because Philly, it would be Antonio Gibson who I'd swap out for him, but Philly, at least last year, Philly did have a good run defense. So it's Antonio Gibson does catch passes though, but I'd rather run with Kenyon Drake than Zach Moss or Antonio Gibson. AJ Brown, that's pretty much a given. Kenny Golladay, we have to keep our eye on because he did tweak his hamstring. So, he was limited in practice on Friday. He tweaked his hamstring, so we're going to have to see, or not on Friday, hold on. Expected to be out or very limited at practice this Friday. Okay, so yesterday he tweaked his hamstring and he was limited. So we'll have to see how much he practices today. If he practices limited, if he doesn't practice at all, then that's a good sign that he is not going to play. So we'll have to swap him out. If he's limited, then he'll be a game time decision, and we'll just have to keep our eye out to make sure that we have somebody to fill in for him, or that we've decided who to fill in for him in the case that he is going to play. If he does play, we have to be kind of our expectations have to be lowered a bit on how much he's going to score. Yeah, because if he has a bum hamstring and they could use him as a decoy, that it's likely he won't. We shouldn't expect him to score as much as if he was healthy. Sorry, it took so. I can't think of words this morning. But anyways, if we cannot roll with Kenny Golladay, my thoughts would be probably to move AJ Brown into his spot and start Antonio Gibson. Would be my either Antonio Gibson. We could Jamison Crowder. He is steady, and he is likely going to be the top target in that Jets offense, the top wide receiver anyways. But against Buffalo is just super good at defense, has a super good defense, so I don't trust him there. But yeah, we'll probably fill in, I guess we could consider Zach Moss as well, but I don't know, that split. We want to see how many carries he gets and how much work he gets opposite to Devin Singletary. There's still that possibility that it's still very much up in the air how much work he gets. It wouldn't be very surprising if he got like maybe 70 or 30%, 40% of the work, at least to start. He is a rookie after all. So we don't know, we can't be sure of how much work he's going to get, so I can't trust that. So yeah, if we can't roll with Kenny Golladay, my thoughts right now would be to shift AJ Brown over to Kenny Galladay's spot, and then move Antonio Gibson. Would basically start Antonio Gibson in that RBWR running back wide receiver flex position. Otherwise, it's pretty straightforward. We have Blake Jarwin or Mike Gesicki here. Mike Gesicki did come up a little lame, I think, a little injured too. But it looks like he took part in today's practice. But and again, he is against the New England Patriots. Last year, they had maybe the best defense in the league. Well, like fantasy-wise, they were definitely the best defense in the league. But one of the top three defenses in the league last year. So they did lose a lot of players to who opted out because of the plague. But they're still coached by Bill Belichick. So that question mark there, I'd rather not gamble on. So we put in Blake Jarwin against the Los Angeles Rams, and yeah, the Eagles, they should have a good schedule for this game and the next few games. They're up against the Washington Footballs right now, so the Washington football team, and over the next few days they'll be up against Atlanta next game, so I'm not sure about that. Atlanta should have a very good offense, but you know, it's like, at least for this game, you know, I'm not sure. Detroit should have a good offense too. Green Bay should have a decent offense. Game 5 during New Jersey, that'd be okay to start them. Okay, maybe we can't stream them for more than one game, but we could definitely stream them for this game. And then Mason Crosby, he's the best kicker that's available right now, so we will run with Mason Crosby. So yeah, that's our outlook for my two teams right now. Yeah, so I'm not sure if I'm going to just post this by itself or post this with, because I will record another video going over how well my guys did and how well my matchups went against, because my matchup today in this league against Gotham City Sirens, we're still projected to lose despite Clyde Edwards-Helaire's explosive performance yesterday. Although, you know, you take the projections with a grain of salt. I don't know who comes up with the projections, but they're often wrong. But anyways, yeah, compared to my matchup here, looks like pretty much a coin flip. And let's go ahead and take a peek and my matchup in my other league because I forgot to do that. I think I need to give it time to load. Okay, 1 second. Okay, and here it looks like, okay, I'm against Dak in the box, and it looks like I'm leading here. Dak in the box, she did grab Tyreek Hill here, so yeah, and he had a decent game yesterday. I think he had somewhere around 60 yards plus a touchdown. Yeah, 5 receptions. Oh, 80 yards. I'm sorry, closer to 90 yards and a TD. Okay. So yeah, that's a very decent. That's a decent output for him. Probably going to be towards the low side unless he completely busts, which he's prone to do. He does have like those 4-point games, and then the next game he'll have like 35 points. You know, that's not outside the realm of possibility for him. But as it looks right now, this one looks pretty much like a coin flip as well. And I think that's pretty much it. That covers my matchup and my situation heading into week 1. So again, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.